I know what you're thinking. What can a 17-year-old know about race science and environmental activism? Trust me, I often wonder the same thing whenever I take pics and videos of myself every time I cry. But hey, age is just a number. And today, I'm here to share some insights that might surprise you. 7 years ago, when I was 10, my teacher introduced me to a project where we recycled car tires. She invited me to participate in the project, and at first I found the project rather absurd. Why would a group of 10-year-old children go collect old tires and paint and draw them, instead of just studying and doing what a normal 10-year-old kid would do? You can guess. I rejected the offer as my classmates enthusiastically engaged in the project. They bonded over the shared experience, they were working together and having fun. A hint of self-pity crept into my thoughts. It wasn't until I saw the fruits of their work that I realized the error of my negative thinking. Not only were they able to reduce plastic waste, but those old collected tires were transformed into a vibrant playground for school children in the highlands. It hit me like a lightning bolt. I had missed a very good opportunity to contribute to my community. Maybe I had rushed into judging everything too quickly. Perhaps I hadn't respected the idea behind it and unintentionally invalidated the meaning it carried. Reflecting on my negative mindset, I began to question, what if I had done something different? What if I chose to embrace the project and approach it with enthusiasm?
What if this? What if that? So many what ifs popped up on my mind. And I'm sure that you can relate to those what if moments that I had. Can I have a round of applause, please? Since that day that the project ended, I made a promise to myself. I would never let negativity hold me back again. I would approach every opportunity with an open mind, ready to contribute to the community, and embrace all the meaningful ideas that lay behind them. And that is the exact reason why I dedicated my whole high school years for Mi Tom Sang, a social impact project recycling noodle wraps into accessories and household items. Therefore, I believe that there's a need to rethink the way we approach environmental messages and the way we deliver those messages. Today, after listening to this talk, I want you to walk out of this room with a brand new perspective about messaging. In psychology, we have this term called the framing effect. Framing effect is a cognitive bias where people choose between options based on whether the options are presented with a negative or a positive connotations. Us human beings have a tendency to choose risk-avoidant options when the choices are positively framed, while selecting more loss-avoidant choices when the options are presented with a negative frame. Have you ever feel a little bit rebellious when your parents ask you to do something as simple as washing the dishes? If so, you're not alone. My parents are sitting down there, by the way. Even the most responsible of us can feel a little twinge of frustration when our freedom is taken away by the mundane task. The way your mom phrases her request can impact how you perceive it and how likely you are to comply. If she uses negative framing, like, if you don't wash the dishes now, you are grounded, it can trigger a negative emotional response and your darkest rebellious alter ego. But if she uses positive framing, like telling you that you will have more time to do whatever you want after you finish this task, it feels more motivating and it can increase your willingness to comply. So, this is why, emotions. Thank you. Emotions really do affect behaviors. Take it from me, a 17-year-old talking about brain science. Actually, this 17-year-old believes that science, psychology in particular, is not a far-fetched concept. In fact, it is relevant in our daily lives, and it can be applied in the most simple activities. When we talk about the frame effect and why people prefer positive messages, it all boils down to the most basic human incentives: pleasure and joy. Pleasure and joy, they are essential for our survival and well-being. Speaking from an evolutionary perspective, pleasure and joy are associated with the activities that are beneficial for our survival and reproductions, such as eating, sex, or social interactions. This suggests that, neuroscientific studies have shown that these positive conditions are associated with the release of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, which plays a key role in the rewarded, motivated behaviors. This suggests that our brains are wired to seek out pleasure and joy as a way to reinforce our behaviors that are beneficial for our survival and well-being. Have you ever heard about the people in St. Pauli in Germany who decided to take matters in their own hand to prevent public urination? Yes, you heard me, public urination. They coated their walls with some sort of super hydrophobic substance that makes urine splash back at the urinators, making public urinations a far more uncomfortable and complicated endeavor. Talking about taking the phrase pee back time to a whole new level. Now, some of these walls are labeled, but others aren't, so you better watch out if you're prone to public peeing. I mean, who knew that the solution to this problem would involve coating walls with pee repellent? It sounds a bit silly, I know, but it seems to be working, and that is all that matters, right? No one wants to walk down the street with pee on his shoes, that's for sure. The folks in St. Pauli have proven that sometimes the silliest and funniest ideas can be the most effective. So if you're in St. Pauli and you are feeling the call of nature, your best bet is to seek out a proper bathroom. Staren, one of the residents, said that her community group came up with the idea after realizing that the conventional methods weren't having its desired effect. And look what we have here. We have another creative solutions to an environmental problem. This time is Hubbub, a charity group in the UK, taking a fun approach to encourage responsible garbage disposal. They created a series of urban trash cans that allow the residents to vote with their cigarette butts on who they think is the best soccer player in the world, Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. But it's not just about the soccer player debate itself. The managers can swap out the question to encourage more debate and more responsible garbage disposal. It's a win-win situation. Not only are people having fun, but they are also dispose their litter in a proper manner. It just goes to show that sometimes all it takes is a little creativity and a sense of fun to make people take environmental issues seriously. I know for some of you, climate change is a wickedly tough threat to wrap the brain around. It's easy to feel doomed these days because media shower us with so much bad news. Headlines don't feature acts of heroism or compassion, but vivid threats and horror. Our brains don't cope well with such mental origami. Maybe that's why thinking about climate's demise feels a bit like dwellings on one's own. To manage the chill, people succumb to paralysis, indifference, or denial. And I think that most of the news suggests that we are an evil species and we have ruined the planet irrevocably. Believe it or not, as a person who cares deeply about the environment, I think that I'm quite optimistic about a future actually, because we can offset the damage and we can prevent things from getting worse. Of course, it won't happen overnight. It may take several generations, but we're not helpless. We're not powerless. We're not doomed. That dismal mindset won't help us achieve anything. It's time to reinvent the wheel. It's time to rethink the old social issues and direct new ways to address them. Human beings are imaginative, strong-willed problem solvers. But for some reason, we somehow forget that the most creative and effective solutions come from the most basic human incentives. Maybe we should not make fun of those silly ideas. Maybe we should be tapping onto those spontaneous brain pathways, allowing us to break through the existing mindset that climate change is boring and stressful. Today, as the voice of the youth, I'm here with the mission to eliminate our prejudice about a wheel. This is my idea worth spreading. We need to rethink climate change with optimism. A world where everybody is showered with positivity and are empowered to take innovative steps towards sustainability. We all know that it is hard to know where to start. But for the individuals, I want you to at least first try to shift your mindset and approach environmental issues with creativity, optimism, and positivity. Let's make it fun. Let's make it a challenge. And let's make it a part of our daily lives. For the activists, the journalists, the people who are higher up the chain, I need you to know that it is essential to provide us with positive messaging, powering us to make a difference. We don't need more doom and gloom. What we need is hope, encouragement, and inspiration. I'm not done yet. It's not enough to simply continue with the solutions that have been proposed in the past. We need to be willing to embrace new ideas, unconventional ideas, and collaborations across different fields and disciplines. By doing so, we can foster a culture of innovations and creativity, allowing us to tackle the complex challenges of not only climate change, but also other social issues, including public health, social justice, equality, or even the daily daunting troubles. Fear is contagious. Worry is contagious. Joy is contagious. It is similar to a yawn to that respect. You see it on somebody's face, and suddenly everybody around absorbs that energy. But you know what? Happiness is also contagious. Joy is also contagious. When you're in the company with somebody that is so bright and joyful, you suddenly feel like you want to cherish life a little bit more. So till this point, if anybody have fallen asleep or found me super disinteresting, wake up and listen to me now. Everybody, don't be negative. Oh, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that a bit. We can drive the changes. Let's keep it positive. Thank you.